The Gombeys, the colorfully dressed, masked dancers and drummers of Bermuda who represent a rich folklife tradition that reflects this tiny island's wide-ranging roots, namely West African, British, Caribbean, and Native American. Similar to Afro-Caribbean dances that evolved in the Bahamas and St. Kitts, Gombey was developed several centuries ago by Bermuda's slave population to give artistic expression to the indignities they suffered at the hands of their owners. We don't have any language from the slaves who were here. We don't have their arts, says Bermuda historian Ruth Thomas. We have very little about where we've come from, so thank goodness that we have the Gombey traditions. Historically, Gombeys were disparaged by the island's ruling class who viewed the high-energy performances as a threat to the social order. As a consequence, Gombey troops, members which donned masks and full-covered costumes to conceal their identities, were strictly controlled, allowed to dance only once a year, or they banned them completely. Fortunately, in recent decades, the Gombey troops and their irresistible pulsating street performances, Gombey means rhythm in Bantu, have come to be regarded as a cherished tradition as well as high art on this island. Locals now feel this is a Bermudian thing, part of our culture, and they want to be involved, Thomas said. Therein lies the irony of the Gombey as a symbol for Bermuda. They are born from and remind us of a sinister and unresolved chapter in our history, slavery, and the social and economic oppression of the black people that followed it. Were the tensions of race relations not so ubiquitous in local life, the Gombeys would indeed stand as a national symbol of resolution and respect. Instead, their adoption into the mainstream suggests we'd rather wear a mask of unity than tread the path to equality. This is not to suggest that the Gombeys cannot be appreciated by all who live here or visit here, because they can be. How they are appreciated, and more importantly, how they are respected, depends on recognizing them as a living embodiment of a struggle that continues to this day. Much like Copmatch, the Gombeys did not completely belong to Bermuda. Yet the fact that the tradition not only survived but transcended the forces it once resisted speaks to the spirits and perseverance of Bermudians, Black Bermudians. Throughout Bermuda's history, no other tradition has remained intact. Gombey has been handed down from generation to generation, retaining its authenticity and continuing to serve its original purpose, an expression of humanity and freedom of spirit. In the face of unfathomable cruelty and indignation. Writing for the Smithsonian Institution's Center for Folklore and Cultural Heritage, Ronald Lightbourne interviewed Alan Warner, the captain of Warner's Gombeys, who explained that some of his troops' dances are freedom dances, wherein dancers celebrate an absence of shackles and chains on the limbs. In that context, the unbridled enthusiasm and energy of both the drummers and the dancers alike take on new meaning. Furthermore, the dances, which exhibit a flowing sense of improvisation, are actually choreographed with materialistic precision and discipline and visually depict stories of inspiration and freedom. For example, Mr. Lightbourne explained that the Warner's Gombeys express as African stories themes such as Journey and his Spear, Samson and Delilah, and Daniel in the Lion's Den. Other stories he wrote depict the hunter's return and pay homage to the earth and sky. The origins of the Gombeys, like so many Bermudian traditions, are lost in shrouds of undocumented history. That said, it is commonly understood that the tradition emerged from the African and Native American cultures of Bermudian slaves. Now, interestingly, those slaves existed in relative isolation. As early as 1676, a ban was placed on the importation of slaves, leading to a black population that was largely Bermuda-born. This ban, by the way, was not a reflection or a reaction to the abhorrent nature of slavery. No, it was to limit the number of black people on the island. Historic references to the Gombeys date back to at least the 18th century. For example, the Bermuda legislature banned Gombey dancing in 1761 as a reaction to a slave conspiracy to revolt. Post-abolition, Bermuda saw an increase of immigration of black people from the Caribbean, particularly in the late 19th and 20th centuries, and they would surely have brought some similar traditions that would have influenced the Gombeys. Historians also believe there's a British impact, which can be found in the military style of drumming. How this happened, it is quite unclear, but it could simply be the proximity of blacks and whites in Bermuda and the availability of instruments. The Gombeys developed a unique style of drumming, dancing, and storytelling that can be found nowhere else. There is a variety of style amongst the island's Gombey troops that emerged in different parts of Bermuda and throughout family traditions. Still, there are core components to a Gombey troop, and while the size of that troop can range anywhere from 10 to 30 members, the following crowd that is integral to the proceedings also creates a much larger event. The colorful costumes cover the Gombey from head to toe, with bright colorful tassels, a cape, a towering peacock feathered headdress, and of course, the mask, which hid the identity of the dancers from the slave owners. The Gombey weapons, the tomahawk, shield, bow, and arrow, and the whip reflect the Native American influence and also convey the spirit of resistance. The troop consists of a captain who, through commands of a whistle, directs the flow of the dancers. There's also the wild Indian, the trapper, chiefs, and warriors. These dances range in age from adults to small children, and while traditionally it's an all-male spectacle, recently there has been an all-female Gombey troupe. The drummers are the beat of the dance. They play a mother drum, which provides the main beat, side drums for the rhythm, and snare drums, which, according to Mr. Lightbourne, often engage in call and response patterns while striking both the rim of the snares as well as the skin. He described the result as an exhilarating, intoxicating rhythmic mix, which provides the impulse for both the dancers as well as the followers. Anyone who has witnessed the Gombeys would definitely concur. The only day off for the slaves was Boxing Day and New Year's Day. Therefore, traditionally, those were the days the Gombeys marched the streets. Today, Gombeys are a staple at local events and have also captured the imagination of spectators while performing overseas. They are an ever-present symbol for marketing in Bermuda and provide excitement and mystique to tourist activities and events. Their appeal to visitors and foreigners as an exotic and mesmerizing local custom is easy to understand. The driving beat, the sharp whistle, moving mosaic of color, and the relentless energy of the dancers make passive observation impossible. However, for locals, there is a deeper significance and connection to our past, present, and future. Through understanding and respect, the mask may one day fall away, leaving only the unique and enduring drumbeat and dance of Bermuda.